Okay, let's begin some work. The first thing you want to do is you want to learn how to use what is called the shell or the command line interface. In your Windows machine, do the Start button and type CMD. And you'll see there's something that comes up called Command Prompt. If you want to come back to this, you can always just right-click and you can pin to start or the pin to your taskbar so you can come to it as you need. In this case, let's say I pin it to my taskbar. You see it shows up there for whenever I need. Click on it and you'll get a big black box. What do you do with this? Well, in my case, I want to know where it is I am and where I want to go. This initial text right here, C:users Joel, tells me that I am at a path called C users Joel on my C drive. But I have my files on my E drive. So I want to navigate my way there. Some very important commands you need to know. If you want to switch to a different drive on Windows, you simply type the letter of the drive with a colon and hit enter. In this case, I go straight to the root of E. That's what it is when you hit it, a drive at its uppermost place. Drives are structured like trees, and you want to navigate your way down through the tree to where your path is. In this case, I know that my files begin from E at a path called Joel. So I type CD for change directory, Joel, and you'll see that the cursor changes. I have things in my Dropbox folder, so I type CD Dropbox, and now at this point, maybe I'm lazy or I don't remember exactly how everything's spelled, so I can just hit Tab and it will fill it out for me. And then I have my things in NAPS, so I change to NAPS. Now, I can't remember what directory I put things in, so you can type the contents of any directory just by typing dir. In a Mac environment, you could type ls to get a listing of files. This gives me a list of everything that I'm at. So then I change, oh, I'm in the workshops, so I change to workshops. And again, I don't remember where I'm looking at. Oh, it's called OCR 021. So I say CD OCR 021. Notice in filling out the tab, there are quotation marks around the path, and that's because of the space. You need to have quotes around any path that has space. Type dir, and you see there are my directories. On the left and the right, they look pretty much the same. I now move into the raw files. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to try a non-OCR approach to the files. We're going to use PDF to text. PDF to text, if I type just the name of the program, you'll see that there are a series of options that are granted to me. It tells me essentially how to use it. In this case, I want to use PDF to text on this of priesthood file. So I type PDF to text, and then I start typing the file name, but that's a long file name. And again, I can just hit Tab and it will automatically fill in the first file name that matches what I've just started to type. And then the third thing I want to put in, as you see, it asks for usage, options, and then the name of the PDF file, and then the name of the text file. In this case, I want it kind of short, so I'm just going to type bunce.txt. I hit enter, and looks like nothing happened. But when I go over into the files, you'll see there's a new file called bunce.txt, 320K. If I double click on it, you'll see This is the text that's been extracted from the PDF, and it's the complete PDF text. We see from the quality of this text that we could probably make some improvements. Let's see if we can do so. Tesseract does not take a PDF straight into its system. You actually have to convert the individual pages into images. In this case, we're going to use PNGs. Back at the command line, we're now going to use that program PDF to PNG to convert the file that we were interested in. In this case, we're going to do only the first 4 pages of text. I'm taking the command line that I've already provided in the handout, and I'm pasting it in. You paste things into the command line by typing Shift Insert. Now, let's read this carefully. This says, run the program PDF to PNG using the option R. R here stands for resolution. I want a resolution of 300 dots per inch, and I want to begin at PDF page 37, and I want to end at page 40. The file I want to use is of priesthood nc00john.pdf, and I want my output files to have a base name bunts 300. When I hit enter, you'll see there's no display font for a couple of fonts. We don't need to worry about that too much. And over here on the right, you'll see some PNG files are starting to populate. I can open up one of them. In my case, I like to open up my files with something called Irfan View. And you'll see we've got a list here of the page. Using your particular preferred photo editor, you can sharpen the resolution, crop it, enhance it as you like. There's instructions about photo enhancement on the Tesseract website. We now see that all 4 have finished. We now can start to run Tesseract. Before I do so, though, I should show you that PDF to PNG, just like PDF to text, provides instructions on the command line itself. If you don't remember what to do, just type PDF to PNG and hit enter. And here's a list of the different options you can use. There are many different options. You may want to explore them. They could enhance your particular project. Now, we're going to apply Tesseract to these images that we've just ripped. And again, I'm going to copy the text from the command, from the handout. Shift Insert to paste. And you'll see that I'm asking to run Tesseract on something called bunts 40s37.png. It's going to convert to something called bunts-037. -L means language. In this case, ENG is the English code that I want to use. And again, just Tesseract, as with the other programs, if you just type Tesseract, you'll get the options that are allowed and supported. There are further options listed on the wiki for the project. When I hit enter, you'll see that Tesseract says it's opening up, detect 164 diacriticals, and you see there's something called bunts-037 that just appeared. I open this up in my text processor, and you'll see here we are. In this case, let's move this to another view. And we can navigate. On the left side, we have the OCR version. And you can see here the texts are comparable, but how close are they? Well, we'll see that in a little bit. I've extracted the relevant text from archive.org's ABBYY reader. I click on both outputs and I right click, and you'll see there's an option for WinMerge to compare the two files. And here we actually have a picturesque view of where the changes are. Many, many changes and differences. A little bit hard to read, but in larger OCR workflows, a tool such as WinMerge can be of great benefit. We'll see another tool later in this workshop that can illustrate the differences even better. So congratulations, you have now run Tesseract on a file. In our next session, we'll look at improving your results and setting up a workflow. Let's now look at what happens when we try to involve Greek in the mix. This other PDF is the Greek edition, which starts on page 63. And again, we're going to convert this to a PNG file. If you hit the up arrow in the command line, it will refresh the history of the commands you've offered. In this case, we're interested, we've done this PDF to text for one file, why not do it for the other? So I've gone back into the history to my previous PDF to text. In this case, I'm going to escape it, delete the previous material. I'm going to start typing DES because that's the beginning of the PDF file name. Hit tab, it fills it out. And I believe that the editor's name was Nairn. I hit enter. And you see a nairn.txt comes in. And because this is Greek, it's going to do well in the English, as you see here. But once you get into the Greek, it's pretty much gobbledygook. So we're going to see if we can do better with our workflow. Again, we're going to convert the files to PNG. In this case, we're going to start with page 63. That's where the Greek begins. And we're going to end at 64. And let's call it Nairn. In this case, you'll see Nairn 63 and Nairn 64 show up. We can now run Tesseract. Again, the up arrow gets my previous history. So I go to Tesseract, remind myself what I did with the last one. In this case, it's Nairn. Change that to a 63. Nairn 063. And language is not English, but there are English words in it. We're going to start by saying the language is Greek, but then we want to add a supplemental language, in this case, English. That is, if the OCR does not recognize something as Greek, the fallback should be English. Hit enter, and Tesseract begins its work, producing two texts. I'm sorry, one text, because I ran it against only one. And this is Greek. Congratulations, you've just OCR'd your first Greek text.